Okay, so welcome to another Cisco Packet Tracer tutorial. So today we'll be doing the 2023 both ICT third year and first cybersecurity students network security or data communication practical paper. So the instructions we are saying, do not turn this paper until you are told to do so. The question papers, 2 questions, attempt both of them. Save your work with your student ID and question number. So I've already done that. This is the folder as my student ID. Then under this folder we have this question 1 and question 2 with my student number at the end. So that's the meaning right there. And they're saying the folder should be named with your student ID. We have done that. So time allowed is 1 hour 30 minutes only. So you need to be fast for both of these questions, and they were carrying 60%, which is just 20 marks, or 40%, which is just 20 marks. So no calculators are allowed in the exam, so stick to that. Okay, so question 1, which says Chinsari Municipal Council has 2 offices, one in Newtown, as you can see, and the other one in Old Boma. So we are saying the IT department has just designed their network as shown below. So we are given a topology, which is this. As you can see, we have the Newtown and the Old Boma. So they are saying the IT department itself has 16 hosts, 4 at Boma office. So here, as you can see, at Boma office we have the IT department, which are supposed to have how many hosts in total, which is 4. So under IT department for Boma, IT department for Boma supposed to have 4 hosts. Then we are saying we have 12 at Newtown, so this is for IT department also. So under Newtown IT department, this time around we have 12 hosts. So here we need to have 12 under IT department. So planning department has 10 hosts all allocated to Newtown office. So under Newtown we also have what we call planning department, which has, so planning department has 10 hosts. Okay, then finance department all allocated in Newtown, again 5 hosts. So we have finance, which are under Newtown with 5 hosts. 5. Okay, then finally the engineering department has 14 hosts. So 7 for Old Boma and 7 for Newtown. So that's the what department? Engineering. So we have engineering with 7 hosts. So this is for both Newtown and the Old Boma. So from this you can see that under Newtown we have the IT department, which is this. We have the planning department, we have the finance, and we have the engineering. But for Old Town, Old Boma office, we will have the IT department and the engineering department. No wonder this network was created like that. So now let's follow the question. The two offices are connected through a wireless link or a wide area network link. As you can see, serials are used to connect that wide area network link. So this is a serial cable which is used to do that for a wide area connection. So again, we are saying a new network administrator. As a new network administrator, you have received this IP address and subnet mask from Zamtio as your internet service provider. So now show the design and subnet the internet network using VLSM. So showing the design for the ICT students, you're supposed to come up with your own design. But for cybersecurity student, we were given this design already. So we'll skip that part where we need to design this because we already have it. Then we just go where it says we need subnet using VLSM. So let's do that. Let's start. So I'll pause the video, then create the VLSM table without explaining because I've done that in multiple videos, two videos now. So let's be quick. Okay, now that you have the VLSM table, we can start subnetting. So remember, we start subnetting with the network which is big. For example, IT department has 12, so it's the biggest network. So we'll start with this. The biggest, second biggest one is 10. So let's concentrate on this. Remember, we need to know the block size. So the block size according to our VLSM table, which can accommodate 12 hosts, is 16. Because if we say 16 minus 2, basically it's 14, and 14 can accommodate 12. So minus 2 for the network and broadcast address. So I have a block size of 16 under a slash of 28. So as you can see, it's slash 28 with a mask of 240. So now that we know the block size, we need to know the number of hosts it can accommodate. So as we said, block size minus 2, which is just 14 hosts which can be accommodated. Then the subnet mask, for a class C can be represented as this. Then you just remove the 0 and put the correct mask. So for this is 240. So just put 240. From that, you need to know the IP address range. IP address range. So IP address range, we are starting at 0 because this is the first subnet we have. Then we need to end at, so 16 plus 0, we have 16, minus 1, we are getting 15. So as to maintain the network address and the broadcast address. Then we need to know the default gateway. So default gateway is the next IP address after the network address, so it will be .1. Then as we can see under this IT department, which is this, we only have one laptop, which is that. So that laptop can be given an IP address which is .2 because .1 is already for the default, .0 for the network, and .15 for the broadcast. So it can be .2 or between 2 and 14. So we'll go to the next big network. So as we can see, 10 is the next one. So we'll go where there's 10, then just change this information. So which block size can accommodate 10? Again is 16. So we are still at /28, which is just good, everything is correct. Okay, so just for the range, we ended at .15 here, so we need to start at .16. So after .16, you just say 16 plus 16, so you get 32. So minus 1, that's 31 to maintain the network and broadcast address. So the default gateway for this one, it will be 17, because it's the next IP address. Then as you can see again, under this planning department, which is this, we only have one laptop. So this laptop can be given .18 or between 18 and 30. So now I'll just pause the video, then continue with the subnetting. So going to the lowest. Okay, now that we are done with the subnetting, remember that under our network we have two routers, so we also need to subnet for this. So where you ended is where you continue, so let's do that. Okay, now we are done with the subnetting. So following the question, it says we need to show, so both the design which is already done and our subnetting, so we need to show this on the diagram. So what I can say is that you just need to use a label to show an IP address for each and every department on Cisco Packet Tracer. But for this tutorial, our main concern is to understand how to answer this question. So we'll go straight into the configuration. I'll give an example now to show with a certain IP, then I'll give an example how to configure, then pause the video so that we proceed to the next question. Okay, so to show for the IT department, what you can do is that you can copy this information, the IP address range for the IT department, and note down, then you paste it down. Then you also copy the subnet mask like that, you show it, and also you can tell them the valid dose, like valid dose can be 14. So once you do that implementation, it means that you have shown that okay, this was my subnetting and this is this. So you continue this process to each and every coming department, just like that. So that's what you need to do to show. Okay, so let's configure some of the devices in IT department, such as that laptop. So you get this IP for that laptop, you go into that laptop, then under desktop IP configuration, you paste the IP, you check for the subnet mask. So as you can see, it's 240, just put 240 there. Then the default gateway, as you can see, it's .1. It means that you have configured. So do the same for the rest of the laptops according to their subnetting. So let me do that. I'll pause the video. Okay, so for the PCs we are done configuring. Now let's go to the router. So I'll give an example. For example, for router 11, which is this, is connecting router 10 at serial 2. So under config, I'll go where it says serial 2, then I'll paste this IP address. Then for the mask, as you can see, it's 252. So where there's 0, you put 252, then you switch it on. Then you do the same for the other one. So let me pause the video and do it. Okay, so we are done with the subnetting. So for this question, which was the first question as A, we are done, which was 6 marks. So now let's create VLANs for each department. So let's do that. So if you want to understand more, you can watch the previous videos. For this one, I'm just concentrated on the solution part. So Okay, so now we have different departments. So VLANs are created in a switch. I'll give an example for this. So here, as we can see, we have that switch. Under the switch we need to say en, then conft. Now we can start creating VLAN. So we'll start at VLAN 2 because VLAN 1 is the default. You give it a name. So we have planning, as you can see, planning department. So just say planning. Then we go to the other VLANs, which is such as VLAN 3, 4, and 5. So let's do that. We can have VLAN 3, then 4, and 5. So VLAN 3 can be given a name such as IT. VLAN 4 can be given a name such as engineering. Then VLAN 5 can be given a name such as finance. So from that, it means that you have created your VLANs. Now you need to give these port numbers to the specific VLAN. So again, I'll give an example. So int, which is the interface FA. Now, so for planning department, which is VLAN 2, as you can see, it has a port as FA0/2. So it says 0/2. So switch port mode access, then you repeat switch port access. So it needs to access VLAN 2 because planning is for VLAN 2. So you repeat this process by assigning ports to each of the VLANs. So I'll pause the video and do that. Okay, now we need to create a trunk port, which is this, which is at FA0/1. So here it's /1. Then instead of saying mode access, you say mode trunk for you to create a trunk for that link. So once you are done with this, just copy the commands, then you paste them into your switch, and under CAOI, which is command line interface, then you just paste them onto that. So once you paste them, enter, then you see everything will initialize. So I'll give an example again. If I put my case, I to show that first return is 0/1. Under VLAN it has 2 dashes, which means it's a trunk. Then /2 belongs to VLAN 2, /3 belongs to VLAN 4, /4 belongs to VLAN 3, /5 belongs to VLAN 5, and the rest ones belong to the default one, which is VLAN 1. So now that we are done, I'll pause the video, then also create VLANs and trunk for old Boma office. Okay, so now remember that let me give an example. If we want to see if these devices can communicate after creating VLANs, if we want to see if they can communicate, for example, if we want to see if this engineering can communicate with the IT department, which is .2, we go under command prompt, then we say ping 192.168.10.2 for the IT department. Then you see that since we have created VLANs, we have added some security. They cannot communicate because the networks are separated, including subnetting. So now we need to create what we call sub interfaces for this interface, which is connecting the switch and the router, which is FA1/0 in the router, so as to make sure that now it can be doing routing for the packets so that these departments can communicate. So let's do that. So under that router, we start by saying en conft. Then now we start by saying FA1/0 for that interface, which is this, the main interface. then .2 because we started at VLAN 2. Then we say encapsulation dot 1Q2 for VLAN 2, so that's the protocol. Then the IP address or IP add. So VLAN 2, as we can see, VLAN 2 is for planning, so we go under this planning for our subnetting. We get the default gateway, and you need to master this subnet mask, which is .240. Then you add it under that IP address we want to create. So we do that. Okay, then once that is done, you say end, then WR to configure your configuration. So that's for planning. So we need to continue with these others. So let me pause the video and do that. Okay, once you are done, you copy the commands, then you paste them into your router. So before we even paste them, as you can see, this link is down. So you just go on this router, then under config, that link is 1/0. Make sure that it's on. So just switch to on. Then after doing that, you can go to CLI, then you exit this mode. Then now you can paste your commands. So once you paste them, so I can see invalid market detected. So let me see what's wrong with the commands first. Also, we forgot to say int for each interface. We need to say int for interface, then fa/whatsoever. So I made a mistake and forgot int. So let me correct everything, then paste them. Okay, now that each interface is corrected, we can copy them, then we paste. So because we made some mistakes, we just need to exit, then now we paste. So if no error, it means everything is okay, and we can try to see if this engineering department under command prompt can really communicate with the IT department or any other department. So at first it can refuse, then everything will be smooth by receiving the TTL reprise. So as you can see, if we repeat it again, everything is working. It means now our departments can communicate. So now this was just for Newtown, so we need to do the same thing for Old Boma. So by switching it on this link and then creating the sub interfaces for this router. So I'll pause the video, it's just the same thing, then we'll continue from there. Okay, now we need to see if after doing this they can also communicate. So IT department, to see if it can communicate with the engineering department. So let me check the IP address for the engineering department. So engineering department has .50. So let me try to ping that. So now if they can communicate, oh, I said .40, I said .10.50. Sorry, so that was a mistake. Space .10.50. So if now they can communicate, it means that everything we have done is correct. So we are done with that question for VLANs. That's how you do it, guys. As simple as that. For better understanding without any pause, check out my previous videos, then you understand. But even this one you can understand. Okay, so we have configured the internet network with RIP, which is routing information protocol version 2, which is just 4 max. So for VLANs it was 8 max. Sure deserves it. So now let's do this RIP now. So because it's the first time doing RIP protocols on this channel, I'll explain now clearly. So basically what you need to understand about RIP is that each router will advertise a certain network it belongs, so as it enables two different local area networks to communicate. So let me give an example. If engineering wants to communicate with maybe say this department, engineering department from the old Boma, remember it's .50, at first it won't communicate, it will say destination host unreachable. Okay, so as you can see, they cannot communicate by saying destination host unreachable, meaning there are some security parameters or no protocol has been configured or timed out, which means our configuration is wrong. For it to know that our configuration is correct, but we haven't just configured the protocols yet. So let's do that now. Okay, so what you need to understand about routing protocols, you insert them or you configure them into your router. So this is router 11. If my concentration is for router 11, we'll start by saying, if we enter into router 11 by saying en to enable conf t to configure terminal, then what we need to say is just say we specify the types of network after saying router RIP. So for SPF we're saying router SPF, then if it's one whatsoever, but for this one just say router RIP, then you can start telling your networks. So this router is connected to the network for Newtown office. The Newtown office is also connected to different networks for engineering, department, IT, then finance. So we need to specify that. So this is what we do. And Newtown, as you can see under Newtown now, we have this network which is .0. So we have this network which is .0. So you can copy that, and then you put there. Then you do the rest for the remaining three by pasting their networks. Then you say no auto summary, then you are done. As simple as that. So let me just correct the IP addresses, then we are done. So remember, because we are putting version 2 here, we can specify by saying version 2, then everything is okay. Okay, so we have corrected .0 under Newtown. We also need to understand that we have .16, .64. So we have .16, .64 and .32. 16, 64, 32. So 16, 64 and 32. So let's counter check if 0, 16, 64, 32 are correct. So as you can see, we have 0, 16, 64, then the last one which is 32. Okay, so I'm sure everything is correct now. Okay, so once you're done with this, just copy these commands, come into your router, which was your targeted router, enter, exit that, then you paste your commands. So if everything is correct, there will be no error. So what this means is this router is now advertised the networks it's connected to for this new town. So you do the same thing for this old Boma. So here I won't post the video because it's just simple and straightforward. So I'll copy these commands, then I will represent them as for our router 10, which is our next targeted one, and you can see it only has two networks, which is 1 and 2. So here I'll just leave out two networks like that. then everything is okay. Just change the IP addresses. So we have the IT department and engineering. So I'll go under BOMA. So under BOMA, as you can see, BOMA, we have the IT, which is .72 and .48. 72 and 48. So 72 and 48. 72 and 48. Like that. Okay, so you copy this, then you just need to come where there is router 10, exit to that, then you paste. So it means that router has also advertised these networks is connected to. So in a case whereby the routers are many, you can try also to advertise the routers and networks for the routers. So in this case, we just advertised for the departments, but not the routers. So if we can try to check if now these different networks, local area networks such as the Newtown and Old Boy, they can communicate. You can see now that okay, after doing the command, they can now communicate. So that's it for RIP version 2, as simple as that. Okay, so D, use an appropriate access list, configure a firewall that will block OIP traffic from engineering and planning going from finance department. So we want to block this engineering and planning from getting into this finance department. So for this one, it's your exercise, guys. I won't do it. This is just 2 marks. Don't aim to get everything. Yeah, so if you want to get everything, do it. Otherwise, for access control list, you have done them from the previous video. So we are trying to save time because we are doing 2 questions right now. So question 2, the Bank of Zambia, whatsoever. So let me just save this, then switch to question 2 because question 1 we are done. So yeah, I'll save. Okay, so the dollar office has an account saver. So as you can see, under dollar we have account saver. So these we were given already on the question paper for cyber security. So for network, for ICT students under data communication 3rd years, you are supposed to come up with your own design. So now we have it has HR and the operations. So as you can see, HR and operations, then each with whatsoever host. So talk about that later. Lusaka's admin, finance and security as shown. Then we have wide area network link between 2 offices, which is this. Then if we are given that IP address and subnet mask, use VLSM subnet and show the network of the following. So 9 marks for A1 up to 3. So 1, show the design and calculate the subnet mask addresses. So as you can see, this is the design. So for the subnet mask addresses, now we need to start subnetting using VLSM. So according to the information on the question, admin has 16 hosts, finance 21, security 17, under Lusaka. Then Ndola we have accounts with 10, HR with 7, operations with 8. So remember, we need to come up with a VLSM table. So let's do that. Okay, so now we can start subnetting. So subnetting, we start with the biggest network, just like we always say. So as you can see, the biggest network here is the one with 21 for finance under Lusaka. So we will start by asking ourselves which block size can accommodate 21 hosts. So as you can see from our VLSM table, 32 can accommodate because 32 minus 2 is 30, and the valid hosts, as you can see, which are 30 now, can accommodate 21. So from that we can now know about the subnet mask. So the subnet mask for class C, it's given as that for the default. Then we just need to know block size of 32 is under slash what and what's the mask. So slash 27224, so slash 27 then 224. Okay, now we can talk about the IP address range. IP address range. IP address range. Okay, so the IP address range, because this is our first subnetting, it will start at .0. Then we'll say this 0 plus the block size, which is 32. We are getting 32, but we say minus 1 to get 31. So default gateway we have .1 because it's the next IP address from that. So this is the network address, so this is the broadcast address, and this is the default gateway. So because the question was stating, we also need to show the subnet mask and the addresses. You are supposed to copy this. Then since this is for finance, so under finance in Lusaka, here you need to show the IP and also the mask it belongs. So including the like valid hosts you have subnetted, just like that. So by doing this, it means that you repeat this same process for other remaining departments and you have followed the question, because in one they're saying we need to calculate the subnet addresses like that, then we need to show the valid host for each subnet like that, then the broadcast addresses. So the broadcast addresses for this one is .31. So I'll just remove this, but for you, you're supposed to show so that everything is smooth the way they want it, and that's the way we wrote. Yeah, so we are done. Let me continue with the subnetting now so that we proceed. Okay, so I'll copy this, then ask myself which is the biggest network again. So as you can see, 17 is now the second biggest. So you do that. Then since we have 17, so which block size can accommodate 17 is 32, and now whatsoever again is just correct. So slash 27. So leave everything the way it is. Then for the range, we ended at 31, we'll start at 32. So 32 plus 32, that's 64, minus 1, 63. Then here we'll say 33. Then we are done like that. So let me pause the video and continue this same process now. Okay, now that we are done with the subnetting, we just need to specify the IP address for a specific device, such as a server. As you can see, for a server it's .98 because 97 was for the default. So let's do that for the these laptops we are seeing. Okay, now that we have done, let's start configuring. So remember, I haven't subnetted for the routers, just chill for it. So we have admin under Lusaka. I'll copy this IP address. So this is Lusaka admin department. So under desktop IP configuration, let us add those details. So we have 224 for this, and then we have .65. So I will repeat this same process for the remaining devices. Okay, now we are done with the configurations. Let's go to the next question. So don't mind me skipping the subnetting for the routers. I'll do that. I need to explain something. Okay, so B, configure the entire network with OSPF routing protocol so that the entire network can communicate. First of all, as you can see, these devices, they cannot communicate, even though we have created what we call separate subnettings. Let me give an example. So this is .2. If I want admin to communicate with finance, let me give an example. Ping 192.168.40.2, they cannot communicate, meaning admin wants to communicate to finance. They cannot communicate because they have different networks. Same applies to the Ndora office. So before you even start talking about OSPF, you need to involve VLANs for this question. And if you can just follow the questions the way they are, it will trick you. So question 2 is somehow tough because you need to involve something that they haven't even mentioned. So we'll do that, but before I even do it, let me explain another thing. OSPF, which is open shortest path first, cannot work only on 2 routers because if you can see these 2 routers, they all have one link. There's no the shortest path because we have one path. So for that we need to increase the routers. So for this tutorial, I'll just add one router and name it router 4. So after doing that, I'll go under my connections, then select serial. I'll connect it to serial 3, and then again select serial. I'll connect it to serial 3 and serial 2 this side. So by doing that, it means that you have followed everything correctly the way they are supposed to be done. So now let us make sure that we start talking about VLANs. So let's do VLANs now. Okay, so I've just copied the commands for the previous question, which is this one, and then paste them into this, then we change some details. So for Lusaka, as we can see, we have admin, so VLAN 2 will be admin. Then we have finance, so VLAN 3 will be finance. Finance. Okay, then last VLAN, which is VLAN 4, will be what we call security because we have security under Lusaka. Then there's no VLAN 5. Okay, now VLAN 2, which is admin, it's connected under this FA0/2, so it to be /2. So for VLAN 2, then VLAN 3, which is finance, this is connected at /4, so here we say /4. So /4 to access VLAN 3, which is finance. Then we have VLAN 4, which is security, this at /03, so here to be /03 to access VLAN 4, which is security, so here to be VLAN 4. Then this interface is just correct for the trunk, so I'll leave it like that. Then copy these commands, paste them into our switch. So here I won't say much because it's just a repetition for what we did in the first question. So if you want, you can just skip that. So from that, we need to create sub interfaces so that they can communicate. Again, it's just a repetition. So .2, as you can see, it's for admin. So where there's the subnetting for admin in Lusaka, just go there. So we have .65 then at 224. So here I'll put 65, here to be 65, then 224. Okay, so we have .3. So .3, which is for finance, I'll go under this finance under Lusaka, like that. So here we have dot 1 then 224. So I'll just say dot 1 and 224, so like that, dot 1 but 224. Then last we have dot 4, VLAN 4, which is security. So under Lusaka where there's security, I need to go where there's security in Lusaka, then it's dot 33 224. So let me do that, 33 224. So 33 is just correct, but 224. Now that we are done, we'll copy these commands, then paste them into our router. But before doing that, again, remember this interface connecting the switch needs to be on, so as to make it active. Then here we'll just remove out this by exiting, then we paste our commands now. So once we paste, if there's no mistake or issue, you can now see if Lusaka under admin can communicate with the finance department like we wanted it to perform or communicate at first. So if everything starts working out, it means that you need to do the same thing for that opposite side. Yeah, so I can see timed out. Let me see what's wrong. Okay, let me try again. So let me check for the commands again if there's something wrong. Oh yeah, the commands are just correct, but unfortunately we haven't yet subnetted for the routers. Yeah, so let's do that, then everything will work out. Okay, so anyway, we have got what I was explaining. So let's also create the VLANs for Ndola Office. Then after doing that, we need to create the sub interfaces. Then we will subnet these, then try everything at the end. Okay, so we are done creating VLANs, sub-VLAN, sub interfaces, whatsoever. So our main target is now um, to continue where we ended with our subnetting, but for the router. So let's do that. Okay, so we need to treat them as two hosts, such as router 2 and 3, just like this. Then from that we need to treat router 2 and 4, so it will be 2 and 4. Then since we ended at 149, we'll start at 150. Then plus this 4, it will be 154 minus 1, which is 153 now. So this can be given an IP such as 51 and the following one as 152, like that. So after doing that, we also need to consider router 3 and 4. So it will be 3 and 4. That means if we are done with this, we are done for good. Okay, so it will be 7, then 3 and 4. Okay, so here I'm not explaining much because subnetting, we have just done it as a topic itself. You can go check out the previous videos. Okay, so now I'll give an example now to configure. So since it's 2 and 3, this is 2 and 3, so it's connecting under serial 2. So under serial 2, I'll go under serial 2 and then paste this. We know it's 252 for the mask for the routers. What's that? 252. Okay, let me check what's wrong. Oh, so here it's supposed to be 143. So yeah, I had made the mistake. So you are supposed to start at 144 for the routers, so like that. we start at 144. Then if I add 4, it's supposed to be -1, so that's 7. Then let's just make sure we control everything. So that's 5, 6. Then here we'll start at 48. Then if we add 4, that's supposed to be 52. So -1. So here to be 49. Then here to be 50. So here we'll start at 52 plus 4, 56, then -1, 55. Then here we can start at 53, then 54. Okay, now, so make sure when subnetting you are very much careful. So let's try that again. Okay, so 252. Okay, now I'll pause the video since everything is working out. I'll pause the video for the last configurations. So here I'm just giving an example on how to configure, otherwise this is just a repetition. So okay, I'm done. So let me see if my VLANs can actually communicate. So remember, that was the goal. See if they can communicate. So I'll start with .2, then also try with is it .30. So let's see. So sometimes it will start with my timed out, because this is when we were just doing the IP addressing. So let's give it some time. Okay, just made some changes, but using the same things. Maybe I made a mistake somewhere, so just made some few changes, otherwise everything is just okay. Then now let me check an IP address for this. So here we have .2. So let me try to ping that. So basically what I've done, I've used .50 not .40, because I was checking for some stuff, see if I've made a mistake, so I've changed them to .50. So now we need to see if it will communicate or not, otherwise don't change the IP address. For ICT students, they were given .40, then us were given .50. So I've just changed to .50 because I think I've made a slightly small mistake when maybe doing the commands, but I just don't have that enough time to start going through them again. So here's the deal. Whatever I've done so far is just correct. Everything is correct. So as we can see, it's now working, but our next target is open shortest path first. So for router OSPF, basically as I have explained, you need to know the shortest route to take. So I've made the video about this, you can go and check it out. So because of time, because you're almost going to 1 hour to 1 hour, I'll just explain this because I've already even inserted the router OSPF. So into the router we just say en conf t, then router OSPF, then you select a number such as 1, then you start your network. So you advertise the network. So for this network, you put the network, its broadcast bit, and the area such as area 0. Then you continue for these other two connected networks then, and you do the same for these routers. So once you are done with a router OSPF, you can try to ping, or you can just see if this laptop can communicate with this other laptop by putting it into simulation mode. So if that can work out, it means that your router OSPF has really worked for you. And the last question, which is access control list, again we have done it before, so go and check out that video. So otherwise, that was our sessional, and the sessional for ICT's third years. So it's just bad that the configuration somehow made a mistake. So otherwise, for question 1 we have just done okay, and even question 2 we have just done okay. The issue is just that I was too fast for this question 2, so I couldn't notice the mistake. But anyway, so that's it for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in school, and hope you share this information with your friends, because it's there to help us to learn and understand these things in detail. So this is Soko James, tutor for KMU cybersecurity tutorials. So see you in the next video. So by the way, this channel is just new, so we cannot put a link in the description. So to find any link related to these solutions, go to the description, then under network security you find these solutions for that Google Drive. So it's free to access. You can do that, then practice. Thank you.